Hi beauties, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. And today I'm going to be doing a video on a foundation and concealer that I've been really excited to try. I've been testing it out just a little bit here and there, and I wanted to kind of give you my thoughts and also do a wear test and just kind of show you how it wears on me throughout the day. So let's just get into it. So I'm going to be using the Too Faced Born This Way foundation and concealer today together because the Born This Way foundation I've heard amazing things about for a long time, and I just never have tried it until recently. And then the concealer is pretty new and I've heard amazing things about it so far, so I was like, okay, it's time for me to give in and give these a try. If you've been here before, you may be thinking, oh my gosh, you are so blonde. And yes I am. I've never been this blonde before. It's really weird. Like, I don't feel like it looks that good without makeup, but once I have makeup on, I love it. So it's kind of one of those things where, I don't know, it's a little more maintenance, just because like if it's not styled, it's not quite like as good looking as just regular brown hair. But I'm very glad that I did it, and I think it looks really nice. But anyways, yeah, I'm blonde. Okay, so this is what the foundation and concealer look like. As you can see, they are very cute. They're like in a frosted glass bottle, and they really kind of like go together, obviously. And this is like huge. Oh, it's half the size. So it's still pretty large for a concealer. Like, I've never seen a concealer this fat. So for the foundation, I went with the shade Warm Beige. I bought this online because I don't have a Sephora or an Ulta near me, so I'm always purchasing online. And I feel like it's a little dark on me, but it's fine, we can make it work. And there was quite a few shades to pick from, so that makes it a little harder to find your shade, but it's also an amazing thing because obviously the more shades, the better. In the concealer, I got the shade Vanilla, and I think that was a pretty decent choice. It's a little light, but it's not terrible. So, yeah. And Too Faced does have several concealers, and I was trying to decide which one was the new one. And if you're wondering, it's the Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. That is their newest one that everybody's raving about. So basically, the foundation is infused with coconut water, alpine rose, and hyaluronic acid. Coconut water is for the moisture, alpine rose is to brighten and boost the radiance, and the hyaluronic acid is for a smoother, more youthful appearance. And it's an oil-free foundation, and it diffuses the line between makeup and skin. Coverage so undetectable, and skin so naturally radiant that they'll think you're born this way. Then the concealer basically is the same thing. It's got the coconut water, alpine rose, hyaluronic acid, and it says it's hydrating, long-wearing, photo-friendly, and non-comedogenic. So it doesn't necessarily say whether it's oil-free or what kind of finish it's supposed to have, but it does say super coverage. The reason it's called like the multi-use sculpting concealer is because it's meant to be used to like highlight, contour, and retouch blemishes. And obviously conceal. Alright, let me pull up the prices real quick just so I can tell you how much they cost, because I can't remember, but I know it's expensive. Okay, so it looks like for the foundation, you're going to be paying $39, and for the concealer, you're going to be paying $29. But I will say with the concealer, most concealers are not 15 or 0.5 fluid ounces. I'd say they're usually like half of that. So really, I don't think that's just extremely terrible for the concealer, although it does seem really high. And the foundation is pretty normal for any kind of more high-end foundations. That price range isn't terrible. So to get started, I'm going to be priming with the Too Faced Hangover primer. Couldn't think of what it was called. And this is also infused with coconut water, as are the other products, so I feel like it'll mesh well with these items, so I thought I'd give them a chance together. And I'm also going to be filling in my pores with some Porefessional. This primer feels really nice, but for some reason whenever I put it on, I smell a slight scent of pickles. And I hate pickles, but it's like very slight, so it's not terrible, but it's kind of like why, you know? Like, this is supposed to be coconut, not pickles. As I said, I'm going to be using the Professional, the Pearl one. And I'm just going to press this in to the areas where I have larger pores. And whenever you're using a pore filling primer, you want to press it in because it's going to push it into those pores. And that's really what kind of like hides them, you know? Okay, so I'm going to apply the foundation with my beauty sponge. Really, honestly, I don't want foundations that I can't apply with a sponge because this is definitely my preferred method. I am obsessed with using sponges, so if I can't use a sponge to apply my foundation, it's like, I don't want to, you know? Like, it's not good. So, I'm not even going to try anything else because I don't care about it, you know? So, let's just get started. As I said, this color is not quite my shade. I need to go get a new one, but for the sake of getting the video out there, I'm going to use this. And once I put on concealer and everything, it's really not like that bad. See, I thought I was tanner than I am. And it just comes off like a little orangey on me. I thought I was like a warm skin tone, but maybe I'm neutral now. I don't know. I think I changed because I am not this warm. So that was one pump. I'm going to take about a half a pump more and just kind of spread it around my forehead and other little spots of the face where I could use more coverage. I really don't use a ton of foundation on my forehead. I feel like the more foundation you use on your forehead, the worse it looks. So you just like, I don't know, I just barely kind of sweep it across there. This is one layer of foundation. As you can see, does not quite match my neck. I don't think it's like a terrible color, but since this is warm beige, I'm assuming I just go one shade up to the more neutral side of it. But anyways, this is one layer of foundation. Let me zoom you in, show you how it's looking and all that. So as you can see, I have this little friend up here. It's like still showing through, but I didn't put a ton on it to try to cover it up. But you can definitely still see it. And then on the rest of my face, it looks pretty good. On this side, you can still see like, I don't know, a little bit of my scarring and stuff, but it's not bad. Like, not bad at all. Pretty full coverage, just I think I should do one more layer to feel as good as I can feel about it. Okay, here we go. So as far as like how the foundation feels, it feels pretty good on my skin. Like, it doesn't feel heavy or anything. And I feel like it would probably dry down pretty, I don't know, pretty matte. But it definitely still has a little bit of radiance to it. It's pretty natural finish, actually, I would say. I forgot to mention to you guys that my skin is combo. Like, I get my oily zones in the middle, and then around the nose and things, I sometimes get pretty dry. Right now, I'm not feeling too dry at all, but as you can see, it just kind of has like, it's got a little bit of a radiant finish. Like, I'd say it's a natural finish. Like, it's definitely not matte, but it's not dewy either. It's really just in between. And I think I like the way that this finish looks on my skin personally. But anyways, let me zoom you in again and show you kind of how that second layer built up. So you can still see my little pimple. I put a smidge more on it, but I really didn't try to cover it anymore. I'll probably throw a little bit of concealer on it, but this side looks really good. I mean, I have texture that I can see through the skin, but you're never going to be able to cover texture. But as far as like even skin tone, it looks really nice. And same on this side, like, looks pretty good. It's not really like cakey on the skin or anything, and it does have like a skin-like finish. I will say the most cakey part of it is right here in between my eyebrows, and that happens to me a lot. where I tend to get the most kind of unnatural looking area. There and around the nose, but around the nose looks really good. So now I'm going to go in with the concealer in Vanilla. As I said earlier, the tip on this is like a large doe foot applicator, and it comes to a point at the top, and it gives you so much product. Like, I have to wipe off some of it because it's like, holy guacamole, like I'm gonna go way overboard kind of thing. So just so you know, it is a generous applicator. So I'm gonna put a little bit on my eyeball because that's how I prime my eyelids, to cancel out all that bull crap. And then I'm just going to apply it where I normally would, just down the side of the nose and out like this. The upper lip area, down on the chin, and the forehead. Might as well throw that pimple in there too. And then a little down the bridge of the nose. As you can see, like, it's a pretty large contrast from the foundation, but once I blend it all together, I feel like it looks pretty good. I could have gone a shade darker probably with the concealer, I'm not gonna lie. And I may end up sending it back and doing that since I'm sending back the foundation anyways. But then I'm scared it's gonna be like no difference, like it's gonna look exactly the same. So I don't know, still trying to decide, because I like a good brightening concealer and I like this one, and I think if I just found my right foundation shade that I'd be fine. And whenever you have a stark difference in your foundation and concealer, I just like to take the side of the Beauty Blender that I applied the foundation with and kind of go over the edges where they meet, so it doesn't look like quite a big difference, you know? Okay, so this is what the concealer looked like before I set it. As you can see, it has a pretty natural finish. It is pretty full coverage. Not much more to say about it. It is creasing a little bit in those fine lines that I unfortunately have now that I'm 26. No, I've had them for a while. But I do have little fine lines just right underneath the eye, and it's settling in there a little bit, but not terribly. It feels pretty good. Like, I can definitely tell I have something under my eyes, but I feel like I always can tell that I have concealer on, so far I like. Okay, so I'm going to zoom you in and show you what the face looks like with powder. So as you can see, it's definitely kind of mattified me a little bit. I have some creasing going on under the eyes. I don't know if you can tell. It's not bad. I've never had a concealer that literally there was no creasing. Like, that just doesn't happen for me. But I will say there's not any creasing yet. It's a little bit in my smile line here. Not really on this side. And like a slight little line on the forehead. But that's pretty normal for me. I have an expressive face, so it's hard to not get those lines sunk into, you know? I feel like it looks really nice. It's not like, okay, like skin-like to me is not this. I don't think this is skin-like. I think this is definitely foundation-y. It's not cakey by any means, and it looks great, but it is not like your average skin tint, or like where you can see all your flaws through it. And maybe with one layer it would have been, but to me, I mean, it looks beautiful and it's like not cakey, but I don't think it's quite skin-like. Like, if you're a very like minimal kind of person, this is not your foundation and concealer, especially the concealer. The concealer is very high coverage. I feel like if you were to use it with a skin tint, it would look a little crazy. Maybe I haven't tried it yet, so maybe I'm wrong, but anyways, let me zoom you out. So I'm going to just do the rest of my face and then I will be right back. Alright guys, so this is my finished makeup with all of the goods on top. I feel like it looks pretty good. I did have a little bit of trouble blending my bronzer. I used the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and I don't know, something about it was blending a little bit weird, but otherwise I think it looks pretty good. Let me zoom you in. So as you can see, or maybe you can't, I don't know, but I don't think it looks cakey. There's like the slightest amount of a little buildup around my nose, but nowhere near like some foundations. Some foundations are terrible about that. But I feel like both sides look pretty good. Can't really see any of the acne scarring or anything like that I have. But I don't know. And once I got the bronzer to like blend out, I feel like it turned out alright. But it just was a little patchy initially when applying it. Smile lines still look pretty good. Just a little bit of creasing on this side. And that little spot on my forehead still is kind of creasing. Underneath the eyes there is some creasing, but I feel like the concealer looks pretty good. It's so nice and full coverage. It's literally the most full coverage concealer I've ever used, and so far I really like it. I think the foundation does not look like skin, but I don't think it looks like, I don't know, cake. So I will say I've been more on like a natural kind of looking makeup lately. So this makeup to me is a little heavier than I have been going. So I might be a little harsher on the foundation and concealer than say you would if you wear full coverage foundation every single day. But I feel like for the days that I want more full coverage and I want to look like glam and wear the eyelashes and, you know, like bam eyeshadow kind of thing, then this is definitely like a good foundation and concealer combo for that. I feel like it doesn't look terrible against my neck now that I have everything else on. I feel like it looks pretty good in comparison to the rest of my body. So yeah, anyways, right now, love the way it looks. It feels like it's going to last a long time. Granted, I don't know, we shall see. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. Right now it is 2:46, so it is coming up on 3 o'clock. I know I started this video so late. I literally woke up at like 7:30 and I was like, alright, we're gonna do this. So I get up, do my thing, start getting ready, realized my phone was dead, went and plugged it in, sat in the chair, slept till noon. That happens to me all the time. It's so bad. Like, I wake up at 6 a.m. to go to work, and if I wake up early on the weekends, I'm like, dilemma. Stay up, sleep till noon, what do I do? So anyways, probably put on this foundation about an hour ago. I took my time doing the rest of my makeup, even though it's not like, it's not anything special by any means. But, so I would say I applied it around 1, let's say I applied it at 2 o'clock. So I will be back in a couple hours. I'm gonna go to the grocery store and maybe clean my house if I have time. And then I'll be back to tell you how it's looking and give you a little look-see. Alright, see you in a few. Bye! Alright guys, so I am back and it's been about 6 hours since I applied the foundation and concealer, and this is how it is looking after 6 hours. I'm looking at the mirror in front of me. I definitely look more dewy than I did before. Also, the sun is kind of going down, so it's not really doing me any favors with my glow. But my forehead is definitely more dewy than it was earlier, and also my highlight is like bam right now. So otherwise, it's holding up pretty well. My eye has been kind of watering all day, and it looks fine. Hasn't like worn off any of the concealer or anything, so that's good. It's worn off just a little bit right here next to my nose, which is where I always wear off the quickest. I don't know what it is about it, because I don't feel like I get extremely oily there, but something about that spot just doesn't like to hold concealer or foundation. You can see my little pimple here. This side looks good though, but this side is just worn off a smidge. Not as bad as most concealers, but just a little bit along the side of my nose. And I do have a little bit of clinging around the sides of my nose. That generally happens. It's very minimal with this, so I'm not really worried about it. Boss man! Lady, hey! Drop that! My dogs are like 5 and 3 years old, and they've just started eating shoes again, and I'm about to kill them. I don't know what's wrong with them. It's driving me insane. Any shoes that have a texture that's like foamy, they've been going after them, and it's really annoying. It actually seems to be sunken into my smile lines and forehead lines a little bit less than before. I'm not really sure why, or maybe it just hasn't gotten any worse. But it's not bad at all. It seems a little less on the forehead, probably because I got greasy. I'm pretty impressed with how it's held up for, what did I say, almost 6 hours. And I think it looks pretty good. So I've been sweating a little bit, and that's probably not helping my oils, but I don't feel like I'm overly greasy. Like, I probably wouldn't powder right now. I'm totally fine with this amount of glowy, you know? So here we are, all zoomed in. I don't know if you can tell, like I was saying, it's wearing off just right here, and I hate the way that looks whenever it wears off, but it's pretty minimal, so I don't think that's bad at all. And the coverage and my bronzer and everything still looks good. It's still there, highlight's still there. Blush is kind of worn off, but blush never lasts on my skin. I don't know why. My pimple's coming through there, but so this is it up close. No filters, no nothing. This is just me and the camera, so what you're seeing is what it really looks like. It's definitely not perfect, but I like it. Alright guys, so when the sun goes down, I only have 2 soft boxes, and I don't like doing updates in the dark with only my soft boxes. I don't feel like it looks good, or it looks like anywhere near what it looks like in person. So this is going to be my only check-in for the day, but I mean, for 6 hours, I'm impressed. I mean, 6 hours I know is not like a full work day, and I don't think I've worn it long enough to like compare it to a full work day, but I will say I do really like it. Sometimes when I use too much powder, it can look a little bit cakey, I've noticed, but like today I didn't use too much, and I think it looks pretty good. What are you doing? You want attention? You always want attention. Okay. Alright, so anyways, this is what it looks like. I really like it. I am definitely going to send back the foundation and get a different color, because it is good enough to keep for sure. It's not the best foundation I've ever tried, but it's up there. It definitely has more coverage than the Dior Skin one that I tried that I really loved. I love that foundation, but the coverage was just a little too minimal for me. So I feel like this and that one mixed together would be phenomenal. I would compare it to the Dior one, but like twice the coverage and half as natural. You know what I mean? Like, it's not quite as natural, but it's got that coverage. So I really like this foundation. I think it's very nice, very pretty. I know they just recently upgraded the shade range with Jackie Aina, I think is how you say her name. They collaborated with her to come out with more darker shades, and that is amazing. So there's hopefully should be a shade for everyone to try. If you haven't tried out this foundation, I would totally give it a shot. Also, the concealer I really like. I didn't really mention anything about like the creasing, but it looks pretty good. It hasn't creased any more than it was whenever I first initially put it on. So yeah, I'm very happy with this combo. Too Faced Born This Way combo gets a thumbs up from me. I would love to try the concealer in a darker shade as like contour. That would be really pretty, I bet. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you've ever used this foundation or this concealer or both, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of them. Did you like them? And also let me know what your skin type is to kind of give others a comparison for whether it worked well for oily or dry skin, because I'm a combo. So I think it would work well for both, but I don't know. Maybe if you're super oily, you might get a little more oily throughout the day than I did. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Hey! I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on your notifications so you will get notified every time I upload. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. If you have any video recommendations, leave them in the comments. Thank you.